when you're living a life in a dream for the King of Kings, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, the Lord of Lords. And things can be awesome even without him. But with him, eternally, truly, everything is awesome. Today, here at Animation Angels and Starfleet Games, I want to share how to import a reference image. I'm taking Darren Lyle's amazing character creation class. We're doing Emmett. And I learned this from him, but I am a Cinema 40 user. So I'm learning how to do Blender without doing massive, savvy, hot, cool keyboard shortcuts. And it's been a little confusing for me because it's all different in here. But I want to show you really cool how to import an image. And I am going to File, open a brand new file. I'm going to go File, New, General, click on it. No, don't save. And this just opened up something. I set a reference, a default image. Not an image. I sent a default file, an actual Blender file, so that every time I say, it's down here, File, Default, instead of Load Factory Settings, which I'm going to do now, and I'm going to get this. I'm going to get the default Blender file, and it always opens with a little box, a camera, and a light. This is the light, this is the box, and this is the camera. And pretty much in all of these tutorials and that I'm learning how to use Blender, they say, come in here, and they go delete everything or delete the cube and stay right here on this blue select box. But I'm going to go quickly here and show you. I like the default. This is the default setting, but I like to go and change my interface. So I'm going to go Edit, up to the left, top menu, Edit, Preferences, and I'm going to go right in Themes. If I'm not in Themes, I'm going to click on Themes, then I'm going to go to this top menu, and I have 9 different, these are with Blender 3.1. I'm in Blender 3.1. And I'm liking Blender Light today. I went light. Woohoo! And that's it. And the one that they normally have, I think, is this dark one. My other favorite is Mondo, but okay. I'm going to try to. Terra Bear is going to try to stay on track. I'm going to do a Blender Light. And then I'm just going to click off on that. And I'm going to actually use my mouse a whole lot. And I do have a little zoomer, which is zooming in and out of my viewer. Right here. Zoomer. Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing really quickly. I'm going to try to stay on track with importing a reference image. And because everything is awesome in Blender, yeah. Not everything is awesome at Warner Brothers. Some things there just are not wonderful. They're kind of, So I'm going to click here on the viewport. This is the viewport shading area. I'm going to click on the side of this until I see that white arrow, and then I'm going to hold my mouse down. I'm going to slide over a bit so we can focus in right here. I'm actually going to do one more thing. I'm going to go Edit, Preferences. I'm going to go to Interface. And right here, Display Resolution. I'm going to just blow this up so you can see better what I'm doing, and so can I. And then I'm going to click that Now, I did lose my menu, but I can scroll like this with my scroll wheel. Woohoo! Everything is awesome in Blender. So I'm on my scroll wheel, and I'm praising God for my scroll wheel because it's so awesome. And Game Daddy got it for me. And I am showing you the balls. See the balls? 1, 2, 3, 4. Look, you saw a little change there. Okay, so these are viewport shaders. They're going to shade our object. If we have an object, let's click object right here. And when you have an object, the object add mesh, polygon mesh. And we'll add a circle. Oh no, let's add the monkey. There he is. I'm going to turn him. I'm going to click on the X, Y, and Z axis rotation ball that's on the screen here. And I'm going to face our monkey right at us. Woo-hoo. Now, when our monkey is shaded, he has a texture on him, or he has a color. I'm not going to teach that right now, but he's going to change when you click on the viewport shades. You know, he's changing a little. See, we clicked on the viewport shading wireframe, and this is the transparency. See, I think what it does, it makes it even easier to see through. That's the solid mode. Okay, now remember, you're going to have to, we are in, holding my mouse cursor. See the arrow right there? I'm moving over object. See that? Object mode, we are going to go back and forth. This is something very important if you're new. We're going to go back and forth from edit mode to object mode. Over and over and over, over and over and over. And you're going to find that when you're in edit mode, nothing's working, everything's coming. Because your menu changes. See? See the menu? See how things change? Edit mode, object mode, edit mode, object mode, edit mode, object mode. So you have to check and make sure you're there. The keyboard shortcut for that, and the only way that keyboard shortcuts work, if it's going to affect something in the viewport, this area, you can zoom in and out, we can use the scroll wheel, or we can hit the plus. We have to hold our mouse over this area for it to work, or it's not going to work. The keyboard shortcut. So remember, hold your mouse in the viewport area when you're using keyboard shortcuts over your item. Okay, because if I hit the tab key to go back and forth, the shortcut key for object mode to edit mode and back and forth, and I hold my mouse, my cursor over the viewport, the 3D viewport area, now my keyboard will work. You hear me clicking? But if my mouse went over here onto some other menu, these menus over here, and I click tab, notice nothing is happening. So if you're like me and you fall asleep and your mouse is just sitting there and you're going, oh, click, 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 you're like, how come that's not working? Everything is not awesome. No, no, no. Just hold your mouse over the cursor, over this area. Okay, I think that's key. Now, I wanna, as I'm pulling my menus with my white arrow here, hold my cursor up at this menu and use the scroll wheel, and then I can slide down it. Because I got my font so humongous that you'll hide things, on your menu. So see how I'm saying it's important when you do a function that you're holding your mouse in the right window. All right, now I'm over here and I'm scrolling. And I'm over here in the this menu, I'm hitting plus, and it's growing bigger, and it's going small. I'm hitting the plus and the minus in the properties, this properties area, and these are all tabs, and they do different things, and it's so huge you can barely read it, but I wanted to make a focus. If you can't see while you're learning to use the Blender interface, the icons, the buttons, the menus, it's so fun to turn them up and down. Okay, and then slide these over. So on the viewport menu, I'm going to show you this one really cool thing. And we're in solid mode, and we can hit in these this is shading, viewport shading. And I was showing you they're different. You need to be in one of these, you need to use these along with object, edit, tab back and forth. It'll help you if you can't select things or some, try changing to see better. You haven't lost it, it's just a Z. A Z click and it shows you the different solid mode. And that's what happens, you think you lose things. Okay. So, but one of the cool things I wanted to show you is in solid mode, we can put this down arrow really quickly, and we can come right down here to world. Theme world. Okay. Viewport. Okay. We were in theme. And now I can click viewport, and I have a bar that's down here. And wow, it's not showing. Huh, it's probably because my menu's so many. But notice we have colors. But there's usually a big ball here. Oh, there it is. Oh, it was hidden under that arrow. But so we're in viewport, we're here. We can also click and drag. So I like to change the color of my viewport area. Like so. And then I had to scroll my mouse up because I thought things so good. So I just wanted to say that's really cool. So when you're in solid mode, and I can turn the toggle X-ray back off, and then I can see my item. And we're going to color our objects, and I'm going to have a tutorial up next on how to do that soon. So that's in viewport shading solid, this solid one, and then it's C. Notice hold your menu over solid, it says over there. And the keyboard shortcut is Z, hold it down, solid. Once we get a material on, we'll be able to see the material. And it'll change the background color. But when you're in solid mode, you can click the white solid ball, go down here to viewport, and it'll give us a color menu. Oh, look, my color's showing. Isn't that fun? Oh, orange. Peach. Pink. So I really love doing that. And then, also keep in mind you can scroll this down. Lights, give me some lights. It can be dark or light. RGB. Alright, so I wanted you to see that clearly. So let's go back to File, Edit, not File, Edit, Preferences, because we're going to bring the font back down, and we click Interface, Display, Resolution Scale. And we can see it on the fly, move smaller. That is so cool, isn't it? Okay, so there is so much fun stuff. Just remember that if you want to do anything fun that is fun. Go to viewport, play with the color. Because it gets so crazy that there's so much fun stuff. And that's what makes me feel happy. So that was edit preferences. Oh no, this is the interface, turning this up and down. Edit preferences interface. That was for the font. And then click the solid ball and the arrow at the end of that little bar, this little black area. And then go to viewport. And then you can change that. But it's going to change around as you flip, if you didn't lose anything. Alright, so let's delete this. I'm going to select the monkey. Her name is Susan, and she's in add mesh monkey. And we are in object mode, so I don't think you can find it here in edit mode. You might be able to. Oh, there she is. Okay, so check, but double check when you're stuck. And I'm going to hit X, and then I'm going to say do OK. Now I'm going to say delete. And now we're going to bring in a reference image. Now, see my little arrow? I have to click right there until it turns. And I can scroll it that way. That's awesome. Yeah. Or I can, if I hold my mouse over this viewport area, hit Control space bar, then I get that, and then again, and I get comes back. Control space bar. And that works over these windows, these menus over here. Control space bar. Control space bar. This is the in this menu you can actually hit the plus and minus, so you can see what you're doing. If you have visual disabilities, you're gonna love Tear Bear. I just like things big. I like to be big. So Control on the keyboard, spacebar, and you're back. And sometimes that's a quick way to get a little more room if you're on a small area. And I think the plus, yeah, it doesn't really work the same up here in the outliner menu. But if you go down here, where there's going to be quite a few tabs as you start adding stuff, then you can hit the plus, and you'll see there's more menus. And it's nice to get some of these open and roll with your scroll bar up and down and hit the plus and minus on that menu. Okay, so let's bring in now the image. And I'm just going to tell you quickly, we're going to bring in a reference image. A reference image is just something we stick out in our 3D space to, I'm going to add a little ball just so you can, oops, that's a circle. That was not a ball. Edit, add, sphere, there we go. So we can kind of see what we're doing here. And that's the camera that we're looking at. We'll just go by it. We should lock it so we don't accidentally move it. We can click this eye up here, right at the above in object mode. Click the eye with the arrow under it. Go down to camera and click this white thing. But don't forget and leave it locked, or you're going to go, what do I do? It just helps you from not accidentally clicking on it and moving your camera around. And that becomes a huge ordeal, because if you do move your camera around, then you won't be able to see your object in the render when you go up here and you click F12 and you want to render your picture, make a picture of your object, your model. Because if you move the camera accidentally, you'd be rendering for, like me, Terror Bear. Oh, camera not locked. Maybe on the move tool or something. You go, whoops. And then you'd be rendering nothing. Because the renderer works through the camera. There's my stuff. So, we're going to go back and hold the mouse over the viewport and click Control Z. That should undo. Bring our camera back down, and Care Bear is going to lock it in place by clicking that little arrow. So it's two lines, like a, whatchamacallit. Anyway, okay, so back to the ball and bringing in a reference image. Woohoo! This is so fun. Now, if you bring in a reference image like this, and you just go add, where we get our monkey and add a mesh, but we just don't go that way. We go down here to image, and then we see reference. Isn't that cool? Add reference. We click on it, and then I don't know what this is. The wrong space. Emmett, where are you? Emmett, there you are. Okay, I have found my pictures, selected them, load reference image. And then I go on my little X, Y, and Z turn, and it's crooked. That's because I was in this mode, this perspective, I should say. But if instead, I'll just grab Emmett, click on him, and I'll move him. I'll get on the tool. I won't use any command keyboard shortcuts for the savvies. I'll just click the object with my mouse and move him. I sized him, but get on the arrow and move him. And if you want to see where the measurements are, they're right up here in this little tiny arrow. Click on it, and there's item. Now you can see not that, but if I move Emmett in the Z, or if I move him in the Y, green Y, I can see him. And if I scale him accidentally. So there are your transforms. They're also down here. This one. Anyway, output properties. So now, here we go. This one is output properties. Nope. And they're around here. One of these tabs. There we go. Woohoo! See, you can also get the item rotation numbers right here, and then zero them out and bring it back to the center of the universe later. So that's one way of doing it. And I like to move it here and then just watch the numbers. And I'm taking Darren's awesome class. He does it a different way. He just tells you right away to set the measurements and set the measurements. I'm used to grabbing things like this, zooming in and out with my mouse, and moving things around, and then referencing back. So, but I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to go back this time, and I'm going to go View, Viewport, Front. View, Viewport, Front. And if you want to know what the shortcut is set at, you can just look. It's 1 on the numpad. Well, if you do use that keyboard shortcut, you need to hold your mouse over the viewport area. And there's a shortcut to turn off this on the keyboard, but we can click transform at the top of this menu. And you can click N. But there's a little tiny little arrow right there. Little tiny one right behind the turn wheel, and that opens that menu. The N opens and closes it, but you don't really have a menu to close it. You just have one to open it. I mean a little arrow. To close it with your mouse on the viewport, you go like this and you slide it, which a lot of these menus do. You can slide it closed, but then you can just click on it. So that's a good N to know. I'll hold your, notice I can click N here and it opens, but if I hold my mouse over on a different window, a keyword shortcut's not working. Okay, so let's get on the viewport front, or we can go turn off of our wheel and go 1, hold your mouse over, and then you're on 1. Now when we go add, image, reference, woohoo! That one, that's fine. Load it. Now he's flat in front. Notice, see? So depending on which one, what viewport you're viewing at, or which way you're turned in the, I forget the word for this, but if you're turned like this, he's going to come in funny, and he's going to come into the center, but he won't come in flat. But if I'm in viewport top, which the keyboard shortcut is 7, but viewport top, and then I go add image, reference image, and I grab a reference image, and I click load. Now Emmett is going to be down at the bottom like that. Isn't that nice? So when you bring in a reference images, we're going to be bringing in more images that will cover our 3D objects like this ball. And this crooked one isn't going to help, so let's click X or delete. I think delete works. You can also click X, so the delete keyword. And we can just select the image and hold your mouse over that little blue arrow and move them down on the Z-axis. And then we're going to pull it back on the Y. And then now when we start modeling him, we'll slide our ball back to the center. And then we have a reference image. So that's what that's all about. And then when we go to viewport front, now when we start editing this, we can, I think we can lock the image so it doesn't move around. I think we can go right here to the eye. And let's see. Do I know how to do that? Surface. We don't have to lock in, but we can set them transparent. And we come down here to make them transparent by object data properties. And then we go to the empty tab, down to opacity. We gotta click it on. Then we click in this white space and we drag. You make them transparent. There we go. And then up here we can name him. We can name the image in this menu. And this is our outliner image. Double click and just say reference image. And then you can name all your reference images. And then you can turn it off and on here to hide it as well. And if you don't want it to render, let's see if it's going to render, click render, render image, or F12. It's not rendering, so it's fine. I don't think the reference image renders. There's ways of fiddling with all that. But I showed you how to do some fun things. Woo-hoo. Okay, I'm going to remodel Emmett. I've got him modeled. I've got him rigged. I've got him weighted. I just don't have his IK and I only have 2 hours left. But I'm going to go over Darren Lyle's course. It's on udemy.com, udemy.com, and he has a class that goes on sale, I think for about $12 or $13. Well worth it. He's an amazing teacher. And he does also, even though he uses a lot of shortcuts, he has a good English accent. If that's been an issue for me. And he has a whole bunch of classes, and I think he's a nice voice. And he is fast. So it's Darren Lyle. He has the same name as my daddy, Lyle. Only my dad spells it with a Y, not an I. And we here at Starfleet Games and Animation Angels love Darren. He does some really cool spaceships and stuff. So. All right, until next time, everything is awesome. Everything is cool. You're welcome. Have a great day. God bless you.